if I'm doing the summary, then it's to me. Episode 2, Peacock. Day of that, Jackal, starring Eddie Redmayne, a founding member of Wu-Tang Clan.
Oscar nominated
Eddie Redmayne.
Is he our most talented ginger actor?
Oh.
He's better than Ron Weasley.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say he's better than...
He's better than Carrot Top.
He's better than the one appearance of... who's the guy who showed up in Game of Thrones? I'm having a hard time with names. Is it another Ed?
Game of Thrones had like a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, but it was the musician who showed up.
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. Yes.
Not an actor.
He's better than the single appearance of Ed, but he's got a credit. He's got a credit.
He has an IMDb.
He has a credit.
B page, but
that's a good question. He's got to be up there.
Okay, so we're dancing around.
No one could argue that he's not top 3.
Sure. We're dancing around the plot summary because in my recollection, really not a lot happened.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I think this was a classic second ep stumbler for me.
I was a little pissed because we ended episode 1 and it felt like, oh, we get to see some revenge, which I think we're going to get to, but I think they dwell on it in the wrong reason, which we'll get into that part. I'll try and do a plot sum here. Our boy Jackal is at a birthday party for his child.
Mm-hmm. Trying to have that work-life balance.
Yep. He's trying to have that work-life balance, but also he's trying to keep things private. Don't post that. I think this is a very different version of the Jackal than we had in the book.
Yes, we got nothing about his personal life in the book. Yes,
this whole episode reeked unprofessional to me. And by that I mean unprofessional assassin killer.
Are we sure he's good?
He's got this huge family, not just a secret life and a wife and a kid, but like a wife and a kid with a huge Hispanic family,
and
who are, I don't want to get into generals here, maybe not the best at not gossiping.
The Spanish?
Yeah.
Ooh. Here's what I'll say. here's what I'll say. If you want to be a spy who's not found out, don't live on the top of something.
On the top of a hill?
The top of something is where you're always looking. You can always see to the top of something. Where he's got to be is down at the bottom of something.
You do? Okay. Elaborate.
Make it. His giant villa should be underground. Then he's not going to be found.
I think underground would be a good call. I don't know if his beautiful wife would accept.
If you're a spy, you can't live high. If you're a spy, you got to live low.
Well, there is something to be said about the high ground. He does see things coming. If he's got to defend himself, but you don't want to do that as the spy. The spy's not. I think you're right. You don't want to live on the top of the tower.
For a spy, he lives too high.
He lives too high. He lives too big. There are way too many loose ends, and in the book, you get the sense that he does not leave loose ends ever. And in the TV show, they be a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of reckless decisions. He goes and he has all these rules that he says he has, and then he immediately breaks them because of this particular contract that he's in discussions with. Or he meets people in weird places, and then he just goes, you came alone, right? And them saying yes is like, all right, well, I'm good then. They said that they came alone. Little pinky promise? You promise? That being said, I did love some things about this episode. I loved the scenery. It's like my first note. I love the scenery shots. I love that we just pay some drone operator $5 to take his 4K camera and just shoot over and like we're in Spain. Okay, back to what you said. Plot summary. I don't know if I can do it in order, but I do know that what's happening to our assassin guy is he has his birthday party with his kids. His brother-in-law, I'm assuming, talks to him about, hey, you want to invest in a restaurant? Let's buy a restaurant. He's like, let me put a bookmark in that. I've got some business to take care of, and maybe we can talk about that. I think he likes his brother-in-law. I think he actually does want to invest in said business, but I think he knows it's a bad idea. He has an antagonistic relationship with the mother-in-law. You can kind of tell. She's already taken photos of him and the kid, and he's like, hey, please don't post those, which I think is a foreshadowing to when she is going to #post those. I think it's very interesting that when he's like, I got to go do my business thing, they're immediately, he's cheating on you. Granted, she does see him. She drops him off at the airport, and then she sees him later driving down the street of their town in a taxi cab. So there is something suspicious going on. I feel like the first episode and the beginning of this episode led me to believe that she knew more about his business than I thought she did, and that made you go, oh, maybe she has no idea what he does because she's not in on it. I thought they were going to have the I'm in on it relationship, but clearly she's on the...
Would you tell
hidden in the
your
shadows.
spouse, if you were a contract killer, would you tell your spouse?
Yeah. I think more importantly, if I was a contract killer, I would select a spouse that was okay with me being a contract killer.
See, okay, so there, I was gonna say I would not, and that does, I think, go to your point that I sort of put the cart before the horse there.
Yeah, if I got married and then I became a contract killer, that is different. But if this is my position and this is what I do, I think that is such a big piece of me that I'm
want to have a Mr.
I'm
and
#
Mrs.
ride or
Smith
die. Yep.
Type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the plot summary, and I want to point out that you haven't said a single exciting thing yet.
Nothing exciting has happened. The most exciting thing happens on the other side, and I'm going to get to that because I want to finish what happens with the Jackal, because not a lot happens with the Jackal.
Yeah.
He goes and he meets up with the person and discusses the target again, says he can do it, demands a whole ton of money, and we meet some very rich individuals who are powerful families, which is very different than the people we meet in the book who are quote-unquote revolutionaries, if you will, or terrorists, if you want to call them, one or the other, depends on which side you take in that particular story.
I'm going to say terrorist.
I think that's
terrorist for me.
That's proper. I think that's
okay.
That's yeah. But
we don't have to agree on everything.
Idealists, I would say, right? Where it is very clear in the book that they have a stance that they think is the right stance, and they're going for it. In the TV show, our people hiring the Jackal are clearly bad guys. They are the uber rich. They are the uber wealthy. They are those that want to just hold on to power, and they know that. They make no qualms with the fact that they are just trying to hold on to being rich and hold on to being able to hide their money, because that is the #issue behind this person they want dead, is that he has some sort of software that's going to track dark money, and they don't like that because they deal in dark money. So #bad guys. I do love the portrayal of this tech genius, because he definitely seems like a huge douche, even though what he's doing is, I think, like all things tech, you go, wow, it's cool that they're disrupting said industry, but what are their motivations for that? Because it's usually the same as the other people's money. They just want to be in on the dark money, and they're not in on the dark money yet. But as soon as they get in on the dark money, they're all for it. But that's not too important.
No. It's kind of a yada yada bad guy plot.
That's all that happens on the Jackal and bad guy side. I think that's it. That's really it.
Were you disappointed that they went with something dark money, crypto, whatever, secret funds, instead of keeping it more in the spirit of the book?
Not necessarily. I think it depends on where they go with it. I like the idea It makes you want to cheer for the quote unquote good guys more, I think, than in the book. I think in the book there are some sympathies with the other side. I've said several times.
You're gonna out yourself.
I'm gonna out myself as a revolutionary. I don't think they were right about Algiers. I think Algiers should have been free. There is something to be said about warriors who spent their entire time towing the company line, and how I can understand their anger towards CDG and what happened in the book. I cannot sympathize with these super rich people trying to hide their money in the TV show.
Maybe in the 70s when the book came out, there was the same reaction, but I kind of agree. The dark money thing is a little paint by numbers.
It's too easy to go,
2024,
big
2025.
Big company bad guy.
Right. And there's not that, we did a whole thing on what was going on down there in Algeria at this time, which was very interesting. I knew nothing about, and that's my own obnoxious ignorance. But it gave us something to dig the teeth into and figure out what exactly was going on.
It gave a motivation to our bad guys. They weren't good guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be honest, neither was CDG when it comes to people, period. As
sympathizing with these people, but you're empathizing with
the situation that led them to where they
look and understand more about that situation.
I do not empathize with
money,
this woman
who's
working for, I assume, her father that's on this board of dark money people. I don't sympathize with them. Maybe that will change. I think there's much more of that on the quote unquote hero side, which plot we'll flip over to that. We've got our hashtag good cop, who is doing hashtag very bad cop things. The daughter who she thought would be a great negotiating piece died in her custody. She convinces they're MI6 or MI5? Am I making up MI6? I feel like
I thought I heard 37.
Oh, yes. Wow. Going way up over there. I feel like MI6 is like this fake thing, but I feel like MI5 is internal and MI6 is external. Don't quote me on any of that information. But they work for the British Secret Services. They're the secret government. And they already go bad, and they're like, we're going to not link any of this to you. Don't worry about that part. And she takes it one further and is like, can you keep it under wraps for a little bit, because I've got her on the line. I've got the lure out there, and if they find out their daughter's dead, it's dead, but I might be able to reel it in. She somewhat does reel it in and get some information on where this gunsmith might be. Her and a couple of other secret agents that meet her when she lands go to said place where he's supposed to be to try and arrest him, and many of them get killed. I think that's the whole plot. I think that's all that happened.
Yeah. So to me, it was you used to see this a whole bunch in TV series where the pilot would come out and be super explosive, very exciting. A lot would happen. Big explosion, opening sequence, and ending sequence, and then the second ep, we're dialing it back and we're world building.
We did at least get a house battle. They did have the gun battle at the gunsmith's secret location.
But I don't know to what end. It was not a the premiere is 2 steps forward. This felt like 1 step back. I'm not sure I am that.
Everything was pretty. That episode did not. If that was the first episode I watched of the show, I'm out.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And it's episode 2. We don't necessarily have to give our final verdict on whether we're compelled by the family dynamic or by our antagonist. But as of the end of episode 2, the villains were very paint by numbers, and the family situation. It's interesting to compare that to the book, where we get to the very end of the book, and the ending that I thought was tacked on, saying we actually have no idea who this guy is. Here we're taking the opposite approach. We're going to introduce you to his entire family by name, as well as his spouse's family.
I think that's
all by name, and their various careers and
that
interests.
is a great point, because in the book they're very much like, this dude's a ghost. Even what we thought we knew about him is a ghost, which I know you didn't quite like. But in the TV show, they're very much just like, let's show you his family dynamic. What drives him?
Here's his little kid, and here's his house, and his brother-in-law, who probably wouldn't be good at, I don't know, what part of the restaurant management would he fail at so spectacularly?
Well,
obviously, he would fail at one or more of those.
He's definitely going to be the manager who's buddy-buddy with everyone in the bar, and everyone is stealing from the bar. Yeah. They all are. And he's probably also stealing from his own bar. He's definitely giving out drinks for free to his friends.
Yeah, and if that's a bad sitch. Like a 30-minute plot deviation to understand exactly what's going on at the bar.
I don't know if we'll get to the restaurant. The thing that's crazy about that whole side plot of his family is clearly the family is going to be the crux of what messes up everything for him. The family's going to do something stupid, AAK post a photo of the birthday on Facebook, or they're obviously going to start investigating him now because the family thinks he's cheating on her. And that's the immediate thing they jump to, is that he's cheating on her. So we're going to go investigate that. Ooh, special guest. And that's... I think they're probably going to make assumptions. Do you think they're going to find out what he does? Because they're definitely going to try and like buddy cop it, or not buddy cop it, but like they're going to start watching him, and maybe that's what will lead to it. Maybe they'll try and like put a stupid app on his phone or something, and the police get to use that. Or maybe the police will put pressure on them, on the family, to like help. But I think that's going to be the crux of the situation, and that's why I think he's so #unprofessional about this whole thing. The family is the whole family is a dumb situation.
That'll be an interesting dynamic in how they track down Eddie Red.
Yeah,
Ed Red. Can we agree to call him Ed Red? Ed Red.
We can go with Ed Red.
Because of course in the book it was the 70s. We didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have the social media. We didn't have this or that. It's going to be a different process. A lot more of the forensic investigation than was in the book version. So that'll be interesting to see how they play with that. But
I think they're going to use the family as the excuse for he didn't mess up, but we caught him because the family around him messed up, and that was his mistake, was having the family.
That seems like a bad message.
It is. I don't think it's a moral. But I don't think the morality is,
No, if he's taken down by a Facebook post, I think I'll be disappointed.
I don't think it will be that exactly, but the family is going to be why they catch him or stop him or whatever it may be. My notes are awful. I'm looking at my notes now. I have typos. I'm drunk. I don't know what any of these are, so we're going to go through them, and they're going to be great. My first note is I freaking love the scenery shots, and I agree with that. And what I will say is the scenery shots feel like they were pulled directly from the movie.
We said we wanted that from the...
yeah, and I think that is the so far the thing I absolutely love about the TV show is that they... and that may be giving the movie too much credit, but I think the movie did a very good job of that, especially for the 70s. And I think they pulled directly from that for the TV show to be like, here we are. I think they actually spent some budget to go to these locations. They may have just sent a small crew with a drone out there. It's actually a lot cheaper now to shoot, the above shot of a city than it used to be, where you're like, I have to pay a helicopter.
Sometimes the satellites can get them if they're in the right position.
If they get real close. Several times I wonder, does he have enough money? Because that was the whole thing in the book, is like he needs enough money to be comfortable. He lives in a giant villa, way on the top, as you said, too high.
Too top.
does he owe money for that? Is that the issue? He's got to pay that mortgage. My next note was Emma be dead, which is the daughter, which I think is correct. This is one of my first note I don't understand at all, which is Gillespie is the crutch. Do you remember who Gillespie was?
No.
Neither do I. And that's why I'm like, my notes are bad. Let's see. Jack Doolan played him. No color. That's cool. No photo, nothing.
I'm gonna have to cut all this out.
Yeah. They don't have a biography for him yet. Anyways, he's the crutch. It's going to be an issue. I don't know why. But I noted it. It was clearly important enough for me to note it.
If that comes back, then 10 points.
Episode 3, when we find out about Gillespie, I'll tell you why they're the crutch. An interesting change from the book and the movie. The gun maker is the British one versus the assassin, who might not necessarily be British, but like I think that is they make a point to say that they need to investigate, because the assassination attempt, or the assassination that happened at the beginning, happened in Germany, and so the Germans kind of, the reason that MI5/MI6, whoever we haven't decided it is yet, is investigating this is because there's a chance that the gun maker might be British. And by British, I mean Northern Irish. And so that's why they are invested, where in the book, it's the assassin might be British, and so we're invested.
UK-ish.
Yes.
I think is the preferred nomenclature.
I love the term visionary investor, which is Alistair Thirsk. That's him. I think the idea of a visionary investor is just a joke, because most investors lose absolutely all their money. They just hit once. I asked myself the question, does she know what he does? Which is clearly about his wife. And I think it became very clear that she does not know what he does. I thought she did. They had a very interesting conversation about his job, because he was clearly expressing that he was upset about being not paid half for this job that he'd just done, and them thinking that they can just blow him off, which is clearly going to come back. And she very much, they were tongue-in-cheek in the conversation, but it definitely, to me, felt like she knew what he does. And then later that clearly became not the case, because she just thinks he's cheating on her. Carlito, I believe, is the name of the brother. So I just wrote his name down in my notes.
Okay.
I just put,
which in that's Spanish for small Carl.
Okay. I'll trust you on that.
You're gonna have to.
I understand the joke, but I'm gonna just take it on face value. I love that it's clear that Americans are the ones paying for this assassination, because Americans are the ones involved in dark money. It's not gigantic, rich Italian families like the Medicis, who have been alive and richer than us for centuries.
No, they got all that light money.
River is the name of the product, this software that he's selling. He's excited he gets to leave the birthday party, right? Like, if there was a situation he was so excited to get, like, he is, if you are set, quote unquote, business dad, quote unquote, international business dad, he was so excited to finally get to leave that situation.
Yeah, he didn't necessarily seem like he was having a nice time. He doesn't seem like he has a lot of friends or confidants.
No, and he also actually doesn't.
Spy shouldn't, though.
Yeah, but he does. He's not a spy, he's an assassin. But he does not seem very charismatic, which I think is something in the, like, he seems.
Is that just our prejudice against gingers, though?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. This next note is 100% how I felt about the entire episode, which is, I am not too sure about the family. We spent a lot of time with them, and I just want revenge. I was so excited after the first ep that this ep was going to be show how Like, what happens when you fuck with him? That's like that. I thought it was the part of the book where he kills the guy who takes the pictures for him and makes the false identity. That's what I thought we were getting, was that moment in an episode form, and they made a couple of like glances towards it, but they never. There's there's people in the chat. Kevin's telling me that there's a quick question in the chat. I can't see it from here. What is that? Queue? What do those say over there? I think it just says quick queue. It probably just says quick queue 3 times.
Walk your ass down there and see.
Kevin has 3 quick questions.
Well, while you sort those out, I thought the whole family thing seemed to me like the creators got the episode order and it was like 2 more than they had planned.
That's totally true. That's totally possible. Kevin would like to know the brand of your socks.
Oh, my socks?
It's a good break. They look like
socks.
They look like Under Armour?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're just straight up Seahawks.
I'll have to get back to you.
He's going to have to get back to you, Kevin.
They're for the Seattle Seahawks.
He also wants to know if we want to go to Mayday Parade at the Showbox Soto. I'm in. I don't think that's a Micah band, but I'll get back to you.
Yeah, we'll take it offline. I could be talked into it.
Yeah, I wanted revenge.
I could be peer pressured into most things. Was that all of his quick cues?
That's the only quick cue at the moment.
Okay, great.
I'm now I'm monitoring the sitch.
God, what fun.
Live interactions. I got mixed signals with the wife, and I think that got resolved by the end, that she does not know what's going on. That was kind of me going back and forth about whether I think she knows what he does. We talked about this already, but I said he gets pushed around a lot. Mm-hmm. He talks about the 48 hours, and then all of a sudden he's just like, fuck it, I can make it.
What's the movie where they're talking about how if you're living this lifestyle, spy, international assassin, whatever, you got to be willing, ready to leave it all behind at a moment's notice. He seems ready to do that at any point, doesn't he?
He seems ready to go.
He seems good to go.
Yeah, I'm blown away time after time of 2 episodes that they tell him something and he's like, no, I'm very firm on my rules, and then he's like, okay.
It was Heat. The movie I was thinking of was Heat.
Oh, I think I bought that on 4K.
That's a good movie.
We gotta sit down and get through it. I just wrote parallel. Oh, like this is one of the typos that clearly 2 of these letters are supposed to be spaces. There's a parallel where they show him with his bags and he's like, I have to go. And then pretty soon after, they show the police officer packing her bags to go to this offshore mission. And I noted that they are not as nice of bags. It is very clear that she is living a different lifestyle than they are, which I thought was actually kind of funny. I don't know if the director did it on purpose, but I think they kind of did, because he very much had a very fancy fold over type, this is my suit bag situation going on, and she had the 4th wheel on my cart is not rolling very well. Our American business family says patriots defending their way of life at some point, which is very much, let's punch at those Americans right now. Do you think we're at the point yet where we can, Europe might be punching down when we make fun of the U.S.? I feel like we're in a situation now where maybe you can stop making jokes because you're punching down. Like, for a long time, it was America was in charge, so it's okay. You can make fun of us. But part of me is like, I don't know. You're punching down on us, poor.
There's been some good ones lately. Was it Denmark who offered to buy the U.S.? Many of the jokes are Greenland based. That's what I'm noticing.
Lately, yes. Kevin would like to know, is Sean's Bar a real place? It is. I can answer this Q.
Yeah.
I can answer this Q.
Yeah.
It's a real bar. It's in Ireland, and it's hashtag the oldest bar in Ireland.
No, it's the oldest bar in the oldest continuously operating bar in the world so far as they can tell. And so they're very proud of it. It was started in 900 AD and continues on until this day. I've been there recently.
There you go. There's your answer, Kevin. Second question, you up? Yes, I am. And third question, where can the viewers find the Jackal streaming? That would be the Cock.
Well, the TV show. Yeah.
The TV show is on the Cock,
Cock.
the Peacock. The movie, you can't. You have to go down to Scarecrow Video in the U District of Seattle and rent the Blu-ray and or DVD. It's the only place you can get it. Support your local support your local DVD
local,
physical media rental
local.
location.
Yeah. Great questions, by the way.
One audience member is the best audience member. Getting away is important. Don't know why I wrote that, but it's important. He takes a $20 million commencement fee. Just to cover a couple other random notes. River gets released on the 28th. I love that we get our... Why don't you call me the Jackal?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah. So we got one thing. We got his name.
There are a couple different things. At the end, we do get a wink and a nudge that we are getting revenge, because he does start to track them down with a bank account. He does a little bank wizardry. He shows up and he's just trying to figure out, he's like, this money showed up. I don't know where this money came from. This shouldn't be in my bank. I'd like to get it back to them. And he does track down about 700 different shell companies to find out who the person who paid him to kill.
How many shell companies do you have currently?
One.
Just one?
Yep, just Shell. I own the Dutch company Shell.
The one with all the gas?
The one with all all the gas. And the sponsorship of Lego.
Well, congratulations.
How much does Land Rover pay to sponsor all the TV shows we watch? That's just a random note I put in here.
What are the other ones?
They show up in Old Man constantly.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
They show up in this one.
Uh-huh.
They show up in Slow Horses.
Uh-huh.
All the secret agents drive it. Is it? I guess my question does Land. It's European for sure. It's British. Yeah. It's a British company. But do you think it's they sponsor them, or all those government agencies are just stupid enough to buy them, and so that we just we see them because that's what they drive?
I don't know. Would that be replaced with like a Jeep or something over here?
Over here, it would be a multiple of different American cars, because every police force gets to do their own thing. Because we believe every state and city to have their own.
You're going to get us in trouble with so many. Government. You've already got us in trouble with the Spanish as a
I'm
nation.
Screwed. I don't like the hashtag good cop being military strong. They do that a lot so far in this TV show, where she's in the hallways shooting, and she's the one that survives with, like, she's supposed to be this super smart person that's like a smart investigator and detective, but she's also like super active SAS person, where I think the people that she's with, 2 of them die, and they should be kind of the ones that are like really good at the hallway shooting and stuff like that. And I just think it's a little weird. I miss the movie and the book version of the hashtag super cop, which is like kind of an unassuming nerd who like just does good cop work, and that's what like finds stuff out. I'm not saying that she's not allowed to be this thing. I just miss that.
As a woman, you're saying.
Well, obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But God damn, you're just like digging holes for me and then pushing me into them on a regular basis. No, I just think I liked
speak your
I
truth.
liked the unassuming fat cop that was in the book and was in the movie. They even call him a cuck in the book, which I fucking love. I just like that idea.
And this one's not fat enough or cucky enough
Nope.
for you.
Nope. She's not cucky enough for me to get into this. But according to Peacock, she is cocky enough. The only last two notes I have are we have a body count because we had a couple people dead in the back of the car as we ended the episode. And then
What's your temp check as we close out episode 2? Is it higher than it was at episode 1?
well, it lowered after. I mean, we've already mentioned that it lowered after episode 1, but I don't think. Like I'm still in, obviously.
Yeah.
And the quality of the episode was still very high. I wasn't like.
Unfortunately, the walls that we have drawn up around ourselves means we're pod committed.
We are pod committed, if you will. I hate that I did that. I hate that. I want to edit that out.
But I do find myself a little bit less excited.
I did
At
that
the end of
episode
episode
did
2
that
than
episode
one.
did less excite me. I did the cop side is the best fleshed side of the TV show. Again, I think the military cop is a good cop is not my favorite perspective or my favorite view. I would like to get away from the rah-rah version of the cop that I think that is in this story. I would like to see them just do better cop work, better police detective work. But I do like that she's messing up a lot. She got Emma killed, who's just an innocent bystander in all of this. She's probably going to get that lady killed by her husband, the informant, because the guy clearly knew that she had informed them. So either she told him that they're coming for him, or his brother told them. And if his brother told them, it means he knows that she snuck his phone away and figured out where he's at. And then kind of at the end of all this, I just said, I don't know if any of this is worth it to protect whatever, like, rich dude they're trying to protect. And I think that's what bothers me about the police in general, is that they just work really hard for the wrong people. That's just a commentary on society that I got at the end of this. Because even this super rich dude that is supposedly doing the good thing by having this software that tracks dark money, I don't know if I'm invested enough in protecting him.
No,
That makes sense. Not that I want to protect this dark money family either, but I could care less and have an emotional investment in either one. And I think if anything, the Panama Papers showed us that we don't care what rich people do. We already know they're screwing over everyone, and it just doesn't matter to anyone.
Sorry, remind me what the Panama Papers were?
The Panama Papers came out a couple years ago, and they were not inconclusive. They were irrefutable evidence that rich people are dodging taxes left and right and hiding money.
Oh, yeah.
And we just went, yeah. Instead of, we should probably go get this money and
What's
make
your
these people
most
punish
successful
them.
tax evasion that I can take back with me?
I don't. My only example is the negative, which was that when I used to work at a bar and a steakhouse in Ferndale, Washington, they just automatically taxed our tips. But instead of actually counting our tips, they just taxed based on a percentage. And it was definitely more than we got tipped because this was a horrible place to work.
Well, that is not actionable for me.
You're not taking me to prison today. Guess is the point. In fact, I'd like to have a conversation with the government because I think they owe me a few dollars. That's all I have on this ep. I'm excited for more eps. I think the quality of the show is tremendous.
Agree.
I think the acting is very good.
Yeah.
I think the cast is top notch.
Yeah.
Um,
We love Ed Red.
We love Ed Red.
And whoever else is in it.
Well, I think the casting from Game of Thrones, Our Lady.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Our Lady of the it's not Highgarden. What is the Vale? Our Lady
Baby
of the
Robin's
Vale.
mama.
Yep. Is tremendous.
Yeah.
I hope they don't blow over how upset she's going to be about her daughter getting killed. I hope that doesn't just be a 5-minute tear episode and we never see her again. I hope that blows up in the cop's face bigly. Yeah, that's Ep2. Any more comments on Ep2?
None.
Hashtag Go Revenge.